Is there a conspiracy? Is there a conspiracy going on with these Israelite camps? I just have a feeling that there might be one. I don't watch very many of their videos. Very rarely do I actually watch them, even though they end up in my suggestions and recommended videos to view by YouTube. I don't watch very many of them, but you can see the title of the videos that they're posting, and from what I can tell, the last maybe month, there seems to be a push from these camps to establish themselves as the end all be all, the absolute of what it means to be an Israelite. They've even gone as far to suggest that, from what I can tell by the titles of their videos, that there is a growing contention of Israelites that are trying to deceive everyone. They're suggesting that there are a lot of Israelites who are not in the truth, don't know everything, and all the various insults that they like to throw at people. Very immature. And I would think maybe right there, very indicative of what you're dealing with when you deal with most of these camps. But when it comes to the conspiracy, I think that what would be the best way to disrupt this whole thing? What would be the best way to lead as many of us as possible away from the Creator? Well, it's the same old tactic. Divide and conquer. Create an alternative viewpoint. An alternative interpretation, if you will. That's like the bread and butter of religion, really. I think one of the things about the Bible, and one of its main reasons for existing, is because back during biblical times, much of the Most High's laws were kept amongst a select few. In other words, it was not readily accessible to anyone. It was only a select few Israelites that actually knew the law, and it was their responsibility to let everyone else know what was right and what was wrong. And this obviously didn't work out very well. These people perverted the law, they corrupted it, they accepted bribes to look the other way, and they just flat out told people the wrong thing. I think there was a time when no one had the law, but yet still people knew who they had to go to supposedly get the law. And those people, even though they did not have the law, they just went ahead and told folk anything they wanted. So that creates a state of confusion, a state of ignorance. But I'm thinking the Most High's solution to that was to ensure that the law would be readily available to everyone and anyone. Anyone can see it, read it, and understand it. They didn't need it to be taught to them. They didn't need it to be interpreted for them. It was there. Well, Playing devil's advocate, how would you counteract that? You would try to instill in everyone's mind that though they have the law in their hands, though they have ready access to it and they can read it anytime, they cannot understand it. They are not blessed or taught to understand it. So even though it's there, you might as well not even look at it. You might as well not even read it, because you can't understand it. Now, is that not the same narrative we hear from these camps? Is that not the same narrative that we've heard from every major religion? The priests have gone to school to understand what the Bible means, and then they come and tell it to you, like telling you a story every Sunday. You get to go listen to the storyteller read you a bedtime story. I mean, it's the best course of action. It's the only course of action. If the truth is there for anyone to have access to, the only thing you can do is convince people that they can't understand it. And that's exactly the same machinations I see with these camps. If you listen just maybe to one of their videos, they'll tell that to you maybe 15 times in just one. And these guys put out videos every day. So it's a reoccurring narrative. It's something that they want to reinforce in your mind. And if you know anything about conditioning, repetition is its foundation. Tell a person a lie enough times, eventually they believe it. So the thinking goes. And there must be some truth to it, because a lot of people do try that. A lot of people do employ that method. So that's one of the things I always look at. It's like, how many times are you going to repeat yourself? And if you repeat yourself enough times, then I'm going to be suspicious of you. You know, because I know you're trying to convince me of something. But yeah, that's just the feeling I have about these camps. And it just seems that perhaps they're feeling some sense of growing competition, if you will. That's why they're putting out more and more videos talking about Israelites that are traitors or deceivers working for the opposite side, and all kind of little sowing all kind of confusion, and you know, and I think it all goes back to the concept of them being established or wanting to establish themselves as the end all be all authority on what it means to be an Israelite. Now, this is just my conspiracy theory here, but I do kind of have a feeling that there may be certain secret organizations that might be backing some of these groups. You know, maybe some of them have a little Freemason backing behind them. You know, it's the same tricks by the same characters. You know, lead us astray. Most High says him and him alone. But if you listen to these camps, it ain't just the Most High. It's also JC, you know, renamed and repackaged for your black listening pleasure, so that it can resonate with us black folk. You know, it needs to be urbanized, you know. It's the same dude with the same supposed origins, who did the same acts and who ultimately died for the same reason. It's the same dude. Yet still, when you go back to the very first of the Ten Commandments, what does it say? In every last one of these camps, every last one that I've seen, there's not a near one that does not pay homage to JC. And I've seen maybe 2, possibly 3 other YouTubers who have acknowledged this too. So, I'm not the only one that sees it. I know it, but it's like, we are in the minority. We are like the minority of the minority. Those of us that believe what the Most High says. That we should only be worshiping Him and Him alone. We should not be putting anything between Him and ourselves. All our energy should go directly to Him. If you put someone between Him, logic dictates that energy goes to that someone. That's what logic dictates. So it has to be a straight shoot with no obstructions. No matter what those obstructions say about themselves. So yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. This is a observation I've made, that it just seems that there's a new war possibly on the horizon, though that is not unusual. Hell, the biblical Israel did split into 2 camps, 2 different camps, right? You had Israel and then you had Judah, So conflicts within our people is par for the course. It's nothing new. It is a shame, though. And I don't think this time is going to be as forgiven as last time, because last time the rules and laws weren't readily available. Now they are. Anybody. Hell, you don't even have to go buy a Bible anymore. You can just go to the internet, Bible Hub, Bible Gateway, and see and read for free. So there's no excuse now. Back then there was an excuse. Treachery. People just didn't know. Ignorance. Now there's no excuse. If you ignore that first commandment, if you choose to ignore the countless times that the Most High stresses that He is the only God we should be acknowledging in Scripture. I think even in a few times in the New Testament. I personally just stick to the Old Testament for everything, but I do believe in a few times in the New Testament it's even stated too. But if you choose to ignore all that repeatedly, for whatever reason, be it stupidity or be it conscious treachery, I don't think it's going to end that well for us this time, those of us who do that this time around. Because like I said, there's no excuse now. Yep. None whatsoever. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Shalom.